All right, we will call this morning's park board meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Barry,
Here.
Steve,
Here.
Brad? Brad?
Brad is driving, and he said he may or may not be able to get on. He's driving out west, so.
Corey?
Here.
Bo?
Here.
Shanda?
Here.
And David?
Here.
All right, moving to item B, approval of minutes from the September 19th meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve when you're ready.
So move. Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded by David. Any discussion on the minutes? Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Steve?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Bo?
Yes.
Shanda?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Okay, item C, financials.
The financial packet is attached. I also just handed out a sheet on the camping revenues, just to show you kind of give you an update of where we're at with all that. We still have a few more diehards out there camping. We've had nice weather, and actually 2 weekends ago, we had 8 RVs at Little Egypt, and then we did have one Boy Scout group that went over at that same weekend at Little Egypt and used the inner part there to tent camp. I don't know how many people were there, but they had 15 cars, and I drove through Sunday morning, and there were still 10 tents set up, and quite a few already torn down. So they had a big crew out there. It's actually, we had 4 different Boy Scout groups here in the last 3 weeks, not financially rated, but 4 different Boy Scout groups in the last 3 weeks that have gone out and used their parks, take their whole troop out. So that's been kind of turned into a little annual thing where the troops are going out, so that's a good thing. But financially, we're as a whole, we're over budget, and thought it was a pretty good year as far as revenues there. Again, they're in the packet that Beth mailed out. There is oil revenues still continue to be lower, is what it is. They send checks. That's why they call it mailbox money. But I'll entertain any questions about finance you may have.
Okay, any financial questions? Questions for finances? All right, new business. Item 1, purchase of 2 weed department trucks.
We talked about this a couple months ago, and we've come to an agreement, and you've been using the trucks, but we didn't have official approval in the minutes. It's 2 F-350s. Both of them have about between 50 and 60,000 miles on them. One's a 2009 and one's a 2011. Tom and I have agreed for the total between the two of them for $30,000. So I'm looking for approval of purchasing those 2 trucks from the weed department.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Discussion? Roll call vote.
Corey?
Yes.
Bo?
Yes.
Shanda?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Section 319 grant.
So I'm working with the Department of Environmental Quality on the Section 319 grant. It's a lot, but they're extremely helpful. There's an ongoing process that starts. The rough draft of the application is due at the end of this month, and then the final draft isn't due until into the spring. But there's steps along the way, and they help you get that done. It's a really, really neat process. Again, one of those things that I value about this job is that I've learned so much more, and it's nice to do new things and learn new things. The bottom line is it's gonna, if we get approved, it'll bring about a couple $100,000 to the Stony Creek watershed, where producers, landowners can apply for funds for fencing in order to help with grazing opportunities, cover crops, potentially septic systems and smaller septic systems, whether that's at a home or a small community. So just availability of those funds to the producers, farmers, ranchers, landowners in that watershed. It's like I said, really neat process. The state has been extremely helpful. They have a good team down there that really walks you through how to do everything. So working on that application, working pretty closely with the Soil Conservation District. They're helping me out a lot with that, with those soil testing and the numbers side of all of the water sampling that we're doing. But I do need a motion, or I do need approval from this board to apply for that grant. So I'm seeking that today.
I'll make that a motion.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded to apply for the Section 319 grant. Any discussion? Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Shanda,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Master plan implementation.
Yep, we're moving along good here. As far as the architect goes, we're really close to getting our contract finalized. I mean, it's awesome, the resource that Karen is to help us get through this process. I would be lost without her. Just being able to find those things, and Lindsay as well. Both of them are just a fantastic resource, and we're really close to getting that done. Really excited about the architecture firm we have. And we're waiting a little bit on the J.E. Dunn side for their contract. Their lawyer is pretty tied up. He's supposed to have a bunch of us to us either the end of this week or beginning of next week, and then we'll start hitting that contract a little harder. We had our kickoff meeting with all parties involved yesterday. Introductions, and really start hammering out our timeline and what our expectations are, and any unique things that may come up, make sure they had knowledge of, whether that's, the Corps owns Little Egypt, or there's a gas line going through Lookout Park, or what specific things they just want to be, we got to be aware of, that the different grants that we have out there that we want to keep in mind of. So really good kickoff meeting. Once we will really closely be to the point that we will be meeting with the architects weekly. It'll be a busy winter preparing. The goal for this winter is to one, get a really good plan for Little Egypt. With that being Corps land, we want to get that to the Corps as soon as possible to start approval. Even though we know that won't be the first park we do construction on, we need to get that information into the Corps so we can start getting approval for them. So when it does come time to do that, everything's ready to go. And then identifying the other two parks that we want to do. We've kind of narrowed it down that we're gonna, because of location, and we're gonna when we do them, the path we're looking at going on is doing Coda Ray and Epping Springbrook at the same time, and doing Blacktail and McGregor at the same time. Coda Ray and Epping, a little because of location for both of them. Also, McGregor is a little less involved. There's not as much there to do. And then also getting Lookout Park, everything done next year. Want to finish that up right away next year. So we'll be a busy winter. We'll be a busy winter of planning and getting everything going. But said we had our first kickoff meeting, and it was really good, and excited about the team we have and the path we're going on. So.
Okay, any master plan? Go ahead, Corey.
I do have one question. Dennis and I had the opportunity to sit down with DOT at the end of the conference. And have you spoken to Dennis yet?
No.
I think you need to reach out to him, because there's actually several NDDOT grants that pertain to trails.
Okay.
So, I mean, I know we've allocated money, but if we can get state money, I think that'd be a lot better.
Yep.
And possibly they can come through and even if it's an 80-20 match, it'd be a bonus. But Dennis has all the contact info.
Okay.
And I actually, I threw you under the bus. I threw your name out to those guys, so I said expect a phone call.
Okay, perfect. Yep.
Okay, anything else? Okay, parks update.
I'll go through a couple things. The guys have done a great job, kind of getting everything cleaned up. One of the projects they took on this fall was out at Blacktail that we call it the lowlands. It would be the northwest corner. So if you're coming just west of where the golf course is, it drops down low down there. There used to be a little shelter that fell over in a windstorm, kind of on a point. That whole area they went through and they've cleaned all the brush out of there. It looks fantastic. Really just cleaned it up to be able to give some fresh growth down there, and it looks really nice. Like it used to be like a primitive tent camping area that, you know, because that one point people would go on. Now it's really nice. They did a really good job. Something, you know, sometimes you gotta go through and clean out all those weeds and give it a fresh start, and it looks really good. So that was a project they kind of took on and just kind of plugged away whenever they had a chance and made that nice. And just everything winterized up at there. Water's turned off. All the lines have been blown out at Blacktail and Little Egypt. Shops winterized. Looking maybe in the future, want to talk about some increased heaters in that shop. That shop was built for just to keep it above freezing, to keep your equipment from freezing. It doesn't really lend itself to actually working in the shop in January or February. It's 45 degrees in there and just not as much you can do. So something maybe wanted to put some larger heaters there in the future. There's just 2 really small heaters in it. Something to look at, but the association started moving their boats in on the cold storage side. I already got after getting them. Mark Barstead kind of leads the charge on that, and he's getting me all their leases and all their checks, so hopefully have those here in the next couple weeks. They did with Mike Herring passing, they did appoint a interim president. That's Don Egge, which is I think good for me. I've known Don a long time. He worked for us part-time for a while. Don really cares about Blacktail. He really cares about it, so I think that's a good thing. Epping Springbrook, we did get our buoys. They showed up. Too late to put them in the water this year, but we got them. I've had a couple meetings now online with the team that will be the support team from one's from Florida and one's from Denmark. And so getting to know those guys, we're tentatively putting a date of April 15th for them to come up and install them. We've already paid for it, their travel up here and to get them installed. So April 15th, we're looking at them showing up and getting them installed and moving forward with that. So just another one of those steps to try to get that lake cleaned up. Otherwise, the rest of the parks, like I said, we have a little bit of camping, especially Little Egypt and Blacktail. McGregor's had a few campers too. Nathan, my guy that works for me, is he ended up having a knee injury and had to be done. My teacher out of Tioga had a knee injury, had to be done a little early, and quit working. But he's still every week just does a drive up there and gives me a report that it looks good. And I did drive through there last week and saw that there was a camper there on a Tuesday night, and I put I don't know, surprise Game and Fish didn't contact me. Someone snuck through, but hopefully we can get that changed. Keep working on Game and Fish. We need to be able to camp out there on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. It's just we've got to the point that we run that place pretty well. We're pretty much on top of it. So otherwise, I think that's it.
Okay, any questions for parks? Game and Fish must know nobody sleeps Tuesday and Wednesday night.
That's
6
right.
days a week. Okay, well, next meeting is November 21st. If Nobody else has anything, I guess we will adjourn.
Thank you, guys. Oh, I